Hey guys, Coach Gaglione here from GaglioneStrength.com. Got my friend Kristen on the line today. How's it going today, Kristen?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great. So for those of the viewers that don't know who you are, can you just introduce yourself? Let them know who you are and then what you got going on right now.
Sure. Well, my name is Kristen Reich. I'm from Westchester County, New York. I am a competitive powerlifter. I have been lifting in the 165 weight class. I lift raw with wraps. For me, I have been powerlifting for 2 years now, a little over 2 years, and just weightlifting in general, only 2.5 years. So I only really had about 6 months of just lifting weights, weightlifting experience prior to powerlifting. I am a network marketer as well, so I do a nutrition consulting business on the side. I also do some life coaching here and there. My boyfriend Brad and I, who I'll bring up because he's the one that really started me on my powerlifting journey.
Awesome.
We both co-own a personal training studio in which we do group training, and we incorporate powerlifting into that, which is really exciting, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, so this is what I live, breathe, eat. So I'm ready when you are.
All right, very cool. So I want to rewind a little bit. So I know you said you've been kind of lifting for about 2.5 years now. What kind of got you started initially, and then what kind of made you go from the transition to I'm just kind of working out for fitness to now I actually want to compete?
Sure. So my story happens to be a little bit longer, but I'm definitely going to try and abbreviate it a little bit or shorten it up. I was a competitive soccer player my entire life. Soccer was all that I knew. It was what I wanted to do as a career as I got older. My dream was to play Division I, to have a full scholarship, to move on and become a college coach, all that. So for me, that was all that I knew. I never really did weight training until I played at Stony Brook University on Long Island. So I had gotten the scholarship. Division I was a goalkeeper as well. So for me, I was the back line. I was always the captain of my teams. A lot of leadership in there. So right before I had went for my first preseason, excited, this was my dream come true, I had dislocated my shoulder. And now Division I is a business, right? So if you can't play your position,
Sure,
you don't get paid. So unfortunately, after 2 surgeries, after 2 seasons I had missed out on, I had to make a decision where, do I want to keep getting surgery and try and keep, going after this dream of mine, or do I want to kind of figure out what the rest of my life is gonna be, what I'm gonna do now? So for me, I had a career-ending injury. I had to kind of give up on that dream at 19 years old, and at that point, I had no clue what I wanted to do.
yeah.
So I dabbled in a couple of other things, but fitness was always at the forefront. Although I really didn't know outside of soccer and outside of cardio what I was doing. I was always a thicker girl. I was always a bigger girl. I knew I was more muscular than a lot of other females my age, but weightlifting was never, ever in my mind. It was never, I definitely fell into the stereotypical category of, no, that'll make me look manly, or that won't, I'll be gain too much muscle and all of that. So it took me a couple of years to get into it. It wasn't until I was really trying to break a weight loss plateau that someone had referred me to Adrenaline, which was my former gym, right? Adrenaline, John Hegel, all of them. So they had introduced me to that gym, and that atmosphere blew me away. I mean, I was a fish out of water. I had no idea what I was doing. And it was, so for those of you that don't know, it was a powerlifting bodybuilding gym. So you had a lot of hardcore people that were extremely passionate about their sports in there. You didn't have many females going in there like me that were like, ooh, what am I doing? I have no clue. So I was a total newbie. Brad Enger, who's my boyfriend now, he is a powerlifter. He competes in the 181 class, a very, very competitive powerlifter, had approached me just about physique. And because I was losing a lot of weight at the time, I was new to weightlifting, and, had offered that he could coach me and work with me. From there, obviously, a relationship grew out of that because the two of us are together. But I was actually going to go into figure. I had a plan. I had a workout routine. I had my diet down. I had a show date. And one day he was teaching me how to deadlift. I've never deadlifted before. He's teaching me how to deadlift. Put 315 on the bar, and I pulled it, and that was it. And at that point, I was like, whoa, this is cool. And he looked at me and he goes, you know that you are no longer doing figure, right? And I was like, okay. And for me, I was open-minded and I saw the opportunity. I so badly wanted a sport. I so badly wanted to compete again.
Right.
But I needed something that would work with me, obviously. And from there, I just realized, wow, okay, I have a lot of strength built behind me. Now we got to work on form. And now we got to get on a program. And from there, this was 2 years ago. So November of 2014 was my first in-house competition, and then from there, I mean, the passion grew. You
Awesome.
can't help it.
Very cool. So I want to rewind a little bit because I know you had some like really bad injuries and stuff. I know that I know like I saw some pictures of you like that you may have posted like throughout, I don't know, sometime on social media, maybe like
Yeah.
periodically. You had like a pretty impressive transformation, like with the weight loss and just getting leaner
Hmm.
and kind of transforming your body. I'm not
Yeah,
exactly sure how many pounds on the scale, but obviously like you looked like way different from like when you started lifting versus.
absolutely.
Did you gain a lot of weight like during like when you were injured, or like was it kind of like just like during college, or like what kind of like happened like with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pretty open about it just because I feel like a lot of people in general kind of go through this when it comes to injuries or it comes to losing out on your dream, right? So
Yeah.
for me, as soon as that had happened for me at 19 years old, having to make the decision of, do I give up on this? Do I keep going? What do I do now? I struggled with depression. I was in and out for a while. Like I said, and at that point, it's very hard to take care of your body when you're just mentally
Yeah.
struggling and trying to find your way. So at that point, I did gain a good amount of weight. I gained about 20, 25 pounds at that point. I was still working out. I was always a healthy eater. I was never a fast food person. There's no, all those stereotypical things that you would think, oh, that's how somebody gains weight. It really wasn't the case for me. It was just, I didn't know what to do and what would work with my body specifically. I had actually come home and I still tried to play soccer at home, but I played the field. And 3 games into the season, I tore my ACL. So I have that working against me. So I have we're talking about 2 rotator cuff surgeries on my right shoulder. We're talking about a reconstructed ACL on my left knee. I had an umbilical hernia at one point, so I had that procedure done. So I'm like walking tic-tac-toe over here. Any sort of, rigorous activity scared the crap out of me. I mean, I was nervous that was going to continue happening for me. So the gym kind of became a very nerve-wracking thing. I had a very bad negative relationship with food, with working out in general. So as my weight loss journey began, there was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of crash dieting. There was a lot of unhealthy restrictions that I put on myself. There was a lot of punishment where I would go to the gym 2 to 3 hours and sit on the treadmill and just like go, go, go. So it was really, I had to work on myself and work on, really wanting it for myself and having a healthy relationship with food, with working out, and just within me. So as I progressed, and the beautiful thing is powerlifting really came in at a very pivotal moment in my life. There were a lot of changes going on. And like I said, I was really looking for something to compete in and something to challenge myself. And in powerlifting, I found that, because it's no longer a team sport, it's a one-on-one thing, right? It's just you on that platform, and you either pick that weight up and put it down, or you don't. So it's very humbling in that respect as well. So as far as my transformation goes, at the point that I started weight training, I did not lose any weight whatsoever. As far as pounds go, I didn't lose any weight, but my body physically transformed tremendously. And it's hard. As a woman, it's very, very hard because you're always looking at that scale. I would say as a man too, you're always looking at that scale to define you and those numbers to define you. But I'm a thick girl. I ain't ever going to be a size 0. I mean, I promote that a lot on social media, to be comfortable with your body and happy with your body, because I really had to come to terms that I will never be a skinny mini. I've really fallen in love in the past 2 years with the curves that I've built, with the muscle that I've built, with the tone that I have, and obviously how that contributes to how I can perform. So that transfer, powerlifting really helped get me comfortable with that number, really helped me build that muscle, cut that fat, of course. I sit at I would say anywhere between 15 to 20% body fat, depending on the day, depending on where I'm prepping and what my diet is like. But I mean, it had a tremendous impact as far as how I viewed my body and how my transformation went.
Very cool. So I just kind of want to rewind just a touch. You had some major surgeries on your knee and your elbow and all this stuff, all these injuries. Just for the people watching, what are some of like your best competition lifts to date?
Okay, so like I said, I lift in the 165 weight class, raw with reps. My best deadlift thus far is 430. My best bench, I just PR'd it the other night. I did 187, which was the best, but in competition was 180. And then my best squat in competition is 365, but I just hit 380. I'm just so everybody knows, I am peaking right now. I compete December 3rd. So I just hit 385 the other night in my squat.
Very cool. Are you doing the one in Pennsylvania or?
No, actually, it's at our local gym.
USPA?
Yeah, so it's
Cool.
at SMG in Yorktown Heights.
Very cool. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
I'll be at another meet, but we'll be wishing you luck from afar for sure.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to kind of like recap too. You know, a lot of surgeries. Probably like at that time, maybe you're like not even thinking about squatting anything, let alone nearly 400 pounds, nearly benching 200 pounds. I'm sure there's probably a point where you couldn't even do like a push up. With like that, with those injuries. So, no matter where you start, it's just about getting a little better. I think that's like really great advice and not really so like, just doing the best you can each day. So I think that's really cool. So the other thing I want to talk about, because I know you are also very active in also helping others too, whether it be coaching and like just your social media stuff. I really love the positivity and like the message you share with everyone. So that's great. So how did you kind of get into like that? And like, how did you get into like wanting to help others?
I mean, like I said, when I started powerlifting, when I started weight training in general, it's just a very, there was a lot going on in my life. When I had quit, when I had to make the decision of whether I was going to continue school at that, at Stony Brook, or if I was going to try and like figure something else out. Like I said, soccer was my life. So I always thought I would have a career as a recruiter, as a trainer, as a coach. I really had to redefine myself. What was I going to do for the rest of my life at this point? And I went and I probably changed my major, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 different times and all different, degrees and everything. So, I was undecided, and all I knew was that I loved business. I love the aggressive nature of business. I've always had tremendous leadership qualities. I've always been a critical thinker, so I've always thought outside the box. I've always been a little bit different in that respect. But I always had a calling I always knew that I wanted to help people. And I always knew that I wanted to pretty much put my struggles on display for other people to find hope in, or maybe find inspiration in, or maybe I can help them get through a tough time that they're having. So for me, struggling with my identity, struggling with, my weight loss, struggling with my own, like just confidence in myself and belief in myself and what I wanted to do and give back to the world. I had gotten an opportunity, like I said before, the network marketing company. The company is called Isogenics. I don't know if that's okay, but the company's called Isogenics. Basically, it does nutritional cleansing. It's all nutrition products. And I found myself, I had absolutely no intention of doing the business whatsoever. I actually put it off and was extremely negative towards it because of, just the industry itself doesn't have, a great reputation based on companies that have preceded it. So my nutritionist is the one that introduced me to the program just to help supplement my powerlifting training, right? To help me gain strength, to help me gain more muscle mass, to lean out, help me with energy and recovery, because at the end of the day, the name of the game for powerlifting is going to be recovery. So to help me with my recovery, all that good stuff, I had, a tremendous experience. I lost 5% body fat in my first 30 days of being on the program, really meant getting my nutrition right. And at that point, people see that you lose weight. People see that something's different. They ask you, they want to know. So for me, network marketing being word of mouth marketing, I found that I can still be myself. I found that there was a lot of integrity in it. I found that I can help a very, very wide variety of people as far as whether it's weight loss, performance, energy, all that good stuff. And that I could coach these people and help them not just, with nutrition and their health goals, but their mindset and how they view themselves and what they believe that they're capable of, and that's what I really love is the self-development that goes into it. It's not so much the physical, it's more so, the emotional and the mind. So at that point, I was working for a construction company. Actually, I was a project manager. I was managing multi-million-dollar projects within Westchester at 22 years old, which was as a woman, which was awesome. The problem is that being a woman and being that I was so young in the industry, the money or the finances wasn't really following what I was contributing towards that business. So I was offered an opportunity with Isogenics to start coaching and start helping people. I was offered an opportunity to do personal training on the side, and I ran. I mean, I like saw it and I knew in my heart it just called to me, and I went for it. And at that point, this is going on 2 years now. It really has aligned perfectly with my powerlifting career, in that I've really grown myself to just want to serve others and help others really tap into their potential, whether it is powerlifting, whether it is through nutrition, whether it is just overall self-development and mindset work. I work with all of those things combined. So I've really established a brand that is a little bit tough love, because I am tough love for sure. I'm not all happy, sunshine, rainbows all the time, and you can see that on my social media. Sometimes people need a wake up call. Sometimes I need a wake up call, and I'm good at that. But at the end of the day, I'm also very, very grateful. Talking about powerlifting, the reason my belief is I believe that the reason why I progressed, as well as I have, is because I am extremely humbled and I'm extremely grateful for what I can do. I understand what my injuries have that have held me back from being able to really, go to the next level, especially with my bench and my shoulder that limits my range of motion, right? And power, off my chest. Same thing with my knee. I'm always favoring one side, but those things aren't going to hold me back. And like I said, after I'm done, so I hit 385 the other night, I was extremely grateful that I could even do that. It's not like I sit there and I'm like, oh, why can't you do more? Can't you do more? I am thrilled, and I'm going to keep moving forward and keep training harder to hit the next thing.
Very cool. One thing we always tell our guys, with injuries or genetics or whatever, it's not like the hand you're dealt, it's how you play your cards. So use what you got, keep moving forward, and I think also just being grateful of, like I said, any PR is great, no matter how big or small. So
absolutely,
very cool. I just lost my train of thought quick. Oh, so if someone was struggling with their identity like you were, maybe they're not sure career-wise or how to start, or if they want to get into lifting, they're not really sure what the next step is. Maybe they feel kind of trapped, kind of you kind of felt like you didn't really know where to go at one point. What advice could you give someone that maybe is in that stage where they're really not sure what they want to do next, whether it be training-wise or career or just goals in general?
That's funny. I had a friend the other day post on social media kind of asking for help in that manner, where they're getting used to something, or they're they can't go any further in it actually specifically was powerlifting. She had an injury, she didn't know where she should go from here because she can no longer deadlift or squat, and she just doesn't find herself as passionate, which is totally fine. It happens in this sport, it happens in any sport, I understand. Yeah. Happened for me. So my advice is get very uncomfortable. This is an opportunity, right? And I see I'm an opportunist. So I sit there and I see, okay, you have this, this big problem in front of you, this big, struggle in front of you. So, you really have to get uncomfortable. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to do the things that you're afraid to do. So this is where you go and you try everything else, right? If you are, struggling with your identity, you've got to redefine yourself. And the only way that you're going to do that is by getting out of your comfort zone, right? So going and, I don't know, if it, just like my friend, like I said, she's having trouble in powerlifting. So I said, why don't you go try yoga? Why don't you go try Pilates? Why don't you go try, all the things that, maybe we don't do because it's not something that we like, but maybe it's something that's new for her and will be different for her and will help her with her identity and really figure out what she wants to do and who she wants to be and how she wants to work out. Anybody that's struggling with their identity, go do the things that you're uncomfortable doing, because it's going to teach you. Whether you can really fight for it, whether you really can dig deep and do it or not. And if you can't, move on to the next thing. Let it go. Move on. Try something else. And again, get uncomfortable. Push those boundaries, because that's the only way that you're going to progress is by pushing those boundaries. Just like weightlifting, you're only going to know if you put that heavy weight on your back or in your hands. That's the only way you're going to know, right?
Very cool. Yeah, I think don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to push yourself. I think a lot of times we limit our potential and put a ceiling on ourselves, and there's so much, out there, and there's so much, to learn. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. You move on. So very cool. So
absolutely.
Kind of last question to kind of wrap, and then we can kind of wrap up. Specifically for lifting, a lot of people, like you said, are afraid of getting bulky, and maybe they're afraid of injuries or all this stuff. What's like the best advice you can give someone if they're kind of on the fence, of whether it could be competing or just lifting weights in general? Like, what would you tell them?
Oh man. Do your research. Do your research because, like I said, when I first started, I definitely had that in the back of my head that I don't want to get too bulky. I don't want to look masculine, and it was something that thank goodness that I had Brad because he kept really showing me examples of women that lift weights and how beautiful they were, and how you can build the body that you want with weightlifting, depending on what reps you do, depending on, what workout program you follow, kind of referencing back to your previous question, my other big point is ask for help. Don't check your ego at the door, man, because you have to be able to ask for help. You have to be able to talk to the people, that are doing what you want to do. If you want to build a specific physique, find that person that's doing that or they're producing people that have that and ask them and see what they say, because the proof is going to be in the people that are doing what you're looking to do, right? So you had referenced Meg squats earlier. Look at what that girl can do, but look at her frame. If you see, look at her frame, look at her physique. If you saw her walking on the street, you would never, ever think that. That's why, I've had personal trainers. I'll be in, gyms outside of here. I do like to travel, so I'll be at gyms around that area, and I'll have trainers come up to me and say, what do you do? Are you a marathon runner, or are you, I don't know, do you do physique? Do you do figure, like so on and so forth? And I'm like, no, I'm a power lifter. And right away, and these are trainers, mind you, and they'll sit there and say, you don't look like a power lifter. What are your numbers? And I tell them my numbers. You don't look like you can do that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what am I supposed to look like? Am I supposed to look like this? Like I don't produce enough testosterone to support, that type of muscle mass. And on top of it, if don't ridicule the Dana Lynn Baileys, because that's what she trains for. That's what those women train for. And that is a job at the end of the day. So you're looking to lean out. You're looking to build a particular physique or really tone up, lose fat, gain muscle mass. You're going to do that by increasing your muscle, your lean body mass overall, right? The muscle's going to cut the fat. Don't be afraid of the weights, baby. Look at all the women that are benefiting from it. I mean, social media is at your fingertips. Go research it, and you'll see.
Very cool. Well, Kristen, thank you so much. This was a great interview. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, of course.
I know that I think this one will help a lot of people, so thank you. Where can people find out more about you, or maybe if they're in the area, maybe I know you guys have you do that personal training, the group training. So if they want to learn more about what you do, where can they find you?
Absolutely. So social media is my number one outlet. That's how, that's my brand. That's my business. So you can find me. You can just search Kristen Reich. On Facebook, on Instagram, it's Kristen.Reich on Facebook. So you can find me. On Instagram, Kristen.Reich. And then I have a group training studio, like we discussed, called Rock Solid Training. It's right in Peekskill. It's group training, so it's a little bit more cost effective than personal training. But we do teach powerlifting movements. So you'll always see some variation of squats, deadlifts, bench, all the accessories built into there. And our goal is to teach people how to lift weights properly, effectively, right? So this way it carries over into them if they want to go into, just a commercial gym and be able to train weights and lift weights safely. We also train at SMG Powerlifting in Yorktown, which, it's an amazing, amazing group of people, very welcoming community. Everyone's there to help you. So I would definitely, if you're in the area and you're looking into it, reach out, because we would love to build. I personally would love to build more females in this, in this sport, just based on what it's done for me, both physically and mentally. Really showing what you can do and what you're capable of. I mean, you'll see a huge change, transformation in your life.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Definitely good look at your meet. I'm not sure when this will air by then, but I know you're going to kick ass either way.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely drop a comment below. Show her some love. If this interview helped you, please share it and check out the links below. Thank you guys so much for watching.